Welcome back to the Kamloops Art Gallery, where we are taking in a very cool exhibition where interim curator Adrian Fass has been working very hard for the last several months. It's called Represent Photography from South Asia.
Thanks so much for coming down.
It's great to have you. So great to have you. Show us around. This has sort of been your baby for the last several months, if not for the whole year. I know you took this position based on the hope that you could make this particular exhibit a reality, and here it is.
Yes, it is really what I've been working on in the background all year, while also putting together other exhibitions. But this is something that's sort of very close to my heart. I have a PhD in South Asian art history, and then my work in the curatorial field in British Columbia has really focused on photography. So I wanted to combine those things because I think a lot of people are surprised by how rich and varied the history of photography is in South Asia. There's a sort of a common sense belief or understanding that the history of photography is a Western art history. It happened in Europe, it happened in North America, but in fact, photography in South Asia is as old as photography itself. As soon as photography was invented in Paris in August 1839, the instructions for Louis Daguerre's process, the daguerreotype, were published in August of that year. Within a matter of weeks, less than 2 months later, we know that people were making daguerreotypes in Calcutta in India. And there's been this incredibly rich history that has often been written out of a lot of mainstream histories of photography. So I felt it was really a great opportunity to show people how much exciting history there is about photography from this part of the world.
And in this exhibit, there's 2 or 3 different little areas that you want to talk about.
Yeah, the exhibition is largely divided into 2 sections. One is a historical section that deals with 19th century and very early 20th century photography in South Asia. And then the second half, with the area we're in now, is all contemporary artists. So the historical side sort of has 2 different streams. Photography in the 19th century in India developed sort of along the official and the personal realms. So in the official realm, the British colonial administration really latched on to photography. They saw it as this amazing tool that they could use for policing and surveillance and to document and better understand and thereby control the populations and the landscape that they were now colonially in charge of. So that's sort of the official realm. And then on the personal side, Indians developed this very rich tradition of painted photographs, where the photographic image is embellished with gold leaf, with painted embellishments, and really rendered into something that looks very unusual for Western eyes. And then on the contemporary side, all of the artists kind of play with photography's relationship to history, the way that it teaches us about the past and what we can really understand through photographs and what we can't.
Very cool. And then a part of this, you were mentioning that a lot of this work came from various art galleries throughout Canada, but you did manage to get a hold of one fellow in India who sent some of his work to you.
Yes, it was important to try to source as many works as we can from within Canada. It helps to make the exhibition manageable.
Yes.
So we have work from the Vancouver Art Gallery, the Art Gallery of Ontario, the Royal Ontario Museum lent about 25 works. They have an amazing collection. The National Gallery in Ottawa and the Canadian Centre for Architecture has a really rich photographic collection in Montreal. And then we also brought in some works from New York, and then the artist from India, Nandan Ghia, who I just really, really wanted his work in this show. It was one of those things that if it wasn't in the exhibition, all I would have seen was its absence. So I contacted his gallery in New Delhi, and they were kind enough to help arrange to send some of his works here. And I think his work in particularly really gets at that relationship, photography's relationship with understanding the past and with history. He takes historical photographic images and deconstructs them in a way that looks to our eyes sort of like digital glitches or like a computer virus, but he does it very painstakingly, deconstructing the image, building the frames by hand.
Right. Now this of course means something great to you because you spent a year in India, in Calcutta.
Yeah, I lived in Calcutta for a year while I did my research for my PhD. And it's a very interesting, very intense place. But there's a lot of things in the exhibition that kind of resonate with my experience there. Actually, the work that we're standing beside is by an artist by the name of Dayanita Singh, and she has photographed archives in India. And many of these places are sort of overrun by piles and piles of paper files that are just seemingly sitting there unused. And when I saw this work, it really it brought back some PTSD for me about working in the archives in India, because they really do look like that.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you had an official opening about a week ago or so, and the South Asian, the Indian community really came out in support.
Yeah, it was really wonderful. Our exhibition was on Friday. We had catering from Nandi's Flavors of India, who sponsored the catering for the event, and they were wonderful partners to work with. But I'd also reached out to representatives of the Kamloops Hindu Cultural Society, and they brought a lot of their membership, and they came to the opening. I had a really lovely conversation with a woman in her 80s about our times living in Calcutta, and it was really nice to see. It's not often that we have an exhibition where members of that community in Kamloops can really see their history and see themselves in the work that we have on display. So we're really hopeful that this will be an opportunity to build even more bridges and relationships with that community in Kamloops.
The pictures are gorgeous.
Yeah,
I think you've done a wonderful job.
Thank you.
A lot of work to take this on, and you've done it successfully.
It's been wonderful, and
Yes.
I really am so grateful to the Kamloops Art Gallery for hiring me and letting me come here and do this exhibition, and on a high note.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Curator Chero Neville is coming back now. You were here for a one-year mat leave. What will you take with you as your greatest experience?
I really, the team of people that work here at the Kamloops Art Gallery are unbelievably professional and great at their jobs, but it was also honestly one of the most friendly, collegial work environments that I've ever experienced.
That's awesome.
The people of Kamloops have been great, but the people that I work with have been absolutely phenomenal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then as an added bonus, you're heading off to India yourself in February.
Yeah, in March, early
March.
March. Yes, I'll be there for 2 weeks. I'm leading a UBC alumni tour to India. So we're flying into Delhi and then to Varanasi, and then we're getting on a river boat and we're cruising down the Ganges for 10 days. So really looking forward to starting a new job in Abbotsford first, and then as soon as I get settled there, I'll be off for 2 weeks to go to India.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great that you're doing all this traveling and getting back to your roots with your PhD being researched in India. So we'd like to say good luck to you.
Thank you. It's been wonderful knowing you this year.
Thank you. You as well, and thank you for leading us through some of the exhibits over the past year.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your support of the gallery.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's what we're here for, so thank you. This fantastic exhibit is one not to be missed, and if you would like to come and check it out, it is open to the public now through until the end of March. We will take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Midday. Stay with us.